Hello, my name is Dr. Moria Levy from Israel, and I want to speak with you today about knowledge retention, because knowledge retention is not only retaining the knowledge, it's really addressing the knowledge risks, and it is a key to business success. So what has changed? Why handover between leaving employees and replacement? Why isn't that enough anymore? Why do you need something more than that? And the truth is, yes, there is a change. It is not trivial. It is not as we were used to be, because now we are in an era of knowledge workers, an era in which the success of the organization is mainly due to the employees' knowledge, the way they are doing, taking off their processes, their job, their roles, and it's because their job, their roles, the definition of what they do is mainly based on what knowledge they have. It's not only more moving things from place to place, it is now thinking with your head. So knowledge retention turned to be very crucial for business continuity. Organizations that do not know to retain their knowledge may be at risk. However, we could not dream even about retaining all the knowledge that we obtain. People will always have more knowledge that we can retain, and we have to redefine our goal of have a different objective. And our goal should be probably the one that I'm now saying, minimizing the organizational damage that is caused by employee turnover. It's not that we want to retain all knowledge. Maybe some of the knowledge is not important anymore, or is not important enough. Or maybe it is documented and it is already shared by other people. So we are looking at the objective organizational damage. We know that we cannot absolutely get rid of it, but at least we want to minimize it. And that's the definition, that's our goal, what we're going to do. So when we speak about knowledge retention, we usually speak about three things. What do we do with the experts, whether if they are leaving or even if they're not leaving? What do we do with the knowledge of those who are the usual people, every one and one of us when we leave or we change our roles and go to other divisions? And what do we do with everyone's day-to-day knowledge? How do we prevent the knowledge loss? How do we think ahead and don't wait for the day that people are starting to leave, but handle some prevention activities even before? So I'll start speaking about the experts. And for the experts, we have a tailored process for each expert, because each expert has different type of very important knowledge. And therefore, we want to tailor the process. We don't want to say A, B, and C, you document for all of them. We want to listen very carefully and understand what is the best, what is most required, whether if they're leaving or whether if we want to prevent the loss or even be more efficient and more effective on the day-to-day processes, because if we document parts of their knowledge, maybe people on the day-on-day job can use the knowledge and come to them only with the very important, the very critical, the more complicated questions. So when we document and when we work with the experts, we also prevent the knowledge loss later on, the organizational damage, but we also help our efficiency and effectiveness today. So when we're speaking about this tailored process, we are speaking about 3 steps, 3 stages. First of all, we want to map and prioritize. We know that we cannot save everything. We want to document what we have, to organize it. Wow, that's not what I meant. And we want to make it accessible so everyone can use it and find it. So when we go to map the knowledge topics, we check what are the topics that expert really has unique knowledge. 2 recommendations: handle a short process. please remember that the main objective is to document and to enable accessibility for of the knowledge to everyone. The more hours we put in this stage, the less we will have for the main stage. So keep it a short process. If you want to understand if something is important or unimportant, is it important to map it as part of the list or not? Ask yourself, so what? And if we will not include it, and will any harm be done? If no harm is be done, maybe it's okay. So keep the process short, and as much as you can, keep the right list, but keep it also short. Then we prioritize. Even if we don't have a very, very long list, we want to prioritize because we always know that there's more knowledge than that, the knowledge that can be documented, and we never have enough efforts, enough resources to really document it all. So how do we prioritize? A, regarding to the importance of the topic at all. B, the current documentation level, because maybe it is very important, but it's already documented, or parts of it at least are documented. So we have to understand how much. And C, the uniqueness of the knowledge in the head of that specific expert, because maybe it's very important knowledge and it's not documented, but we have it within the heads of 100 different people in the organization. So if that's the case, not that it's not nice to document it, it's good citizenship, but maybe it's not prioritized comparing to other things that may be undocumented and unique. So once we have mapped and prioritized the knowledge, we go and start documenting it. This stage will take more hours. You ask how many? It could take between 20 and 100 hours. Why so much? Because it's really an expert. How much depends on how many unique undocumented stuff he has. I do recommend you not to put it in over 100 hours. 100 hours gives us a great deal of knowledge documentation. More tips: structure the process so you don't get lost into it, so you don't dive deep into one issue and all of a sudden say, oh, the resources are already used and I didn't finish half of the job. And B, structure the product. Use templates, find what are the right templates to document what you write, so it will be easier to use. And organize the new documentation. But when you organize this new documentation, I recommend you to also organize the surrounding documentation, that the information that already exists in the different topics that this person is expert to. And ensure when you document it and you organize it, that you put it in places that are shareable. Not only shareable because other people formally have access to it, but shareable because it's natural for other people to access it and use it. And 3, go one step further. Ease the usage. Bring it closer to who may need it. So we spoke about 3 stages: mapping the knowledge, prioritizing it, document it, organizing it together with the documented information that already exists in the computer, in the notebooks of the expert, and C, make it accessible. Add links, put it on the internet, connect it to your existing wiki. Wherever the people are, wherever the people can use it, make it closer. Now I'm going to the second step. We put the experts aside. What we taught you can do with experts, whether if they are now leaving and also if they're not leaving, as I said before. But for all the other people, we can use an almost self-formatted documentation process, asking them to document interesting processes, not all processes that are undocumented, but on regular. Because the regular one are already on the walls. Everyone knows them. But things that happen once a year, things that happen only in some specific occasions, processes that are complicated. There are employees that will have 0 interesting processes, and there are those who maybe have 2, 3, 4, or even 5. Ask them to document them, not only the names, but to describe the process. Ask them to collect and share a list of key documents and why they think these documents are key documents. Ask them to share the best practices, the good practices, their tips and tricks. No matter in what topic, you will see that you will find a lot of gold, a lot of good stones, even though these people are not experts. Ask them to write who are their focal points. Maybe the address and the telephone number, the email address and the telephone number are less important because maybe it's listed on the organizational active directory in some other place. But who are the focal points? When do you address who and why? In what context it is good to be in contact with what focal point? Again, this is very important knowledge that will help us in the future. And the last but not least, that's not to do with knowledge retention, however, with real regular turnover. Ask them to list their open tasks. Nowadays, we all the time have people that are multitasking, that have so many things open at the same time. So if someone is leaving and he has 7, 8 tasks that was open half a year ago, and that was open 3 months ago, and that he's opening or working on a month, ask her to list their open tasks, and then we can have also an easy turnover. I know that there are people that tell that, there are knowledge managers that say, okay, manage this all as long as you work from day one and not when you're nearing or you're very close to your leaving the job, the organization, the role. I think it's less practical. I think that we really work and run so much and people don't stop, and it's not very natural to document these all on a daily basis, day after day after day, during the work all the time. So that's why I really think that it's okay if we document them, the gaps, before we leave. Could it be done by people themselves? Depend on the people, depend on the organization. You have to decide. But also here, we're not only speaking about what to do when people are leaving. We want also to look at how we can prevent. How can we have a better, or may I say, smarter documentation culture? Because if we have a smart documentation culture, not that we document everything that we say and do, because people won't be able to follow it, and they will have less time to work if they document everything. And also people won't be able to use it, because it's like the minutes of meeting that we were used to have, like protocols that are so long that we can't do anything with it. It's like you're taking your Zoom sessions and transcripting them and saving the full transcript. It's not readable, it's not really easy to use it. So therefore, when I'm speaking about prevention, I'm speaking not about a lot of documentation, but I'm speaking about smart documentation. It's affordable, both for those who have to do the documentation and also for those who have to read. So when I speak about smart documentation, I'm actually speaking about, I want to give you tips about what to document and how to document. And I'll start with the how. So when I say how, I want to give you 2 tips. The first is concise. Don't document the full protocols, the full transcripts, the full sessions. You may, if it's very important, but as much as you can, have concise documentation. And wherever you have more detailed documentation, add it only as a second level that people can zoom into it. Not only having all the details, all the story, all the lecture. Concise documentation. How number one. How number two. As much as you can, keep it structured. It will be easier for you to think what you have to document, how to document, to do it concise. It will be much easier for people to use it, and therefore it will have higher level of usage and, of course, much more effectiveness. So that's about the how. What about the what? As we said, we cannot document really everything that we do in the organization. So we really have to be picky. We have to choose the more important things. So I want to suggest that you document two main things: the decision-making processes and the problem solving. Okay. Before I start with the recommendations, decision-making, both personal ones and team-based decision-making. When you document the decision-making, it is more important to document the rationale, the alternatives, the options, and why. What's the criteria list? Why do you choose to prefer one decision upon the others, among the others? Because the decisions themselves are on the walls of the organization. If people don't do it, it's not important. And if they do it, we know it. What is important in the brains of our organizations are the decisions we made. Why did they make them? What was the rationale behind making them? Again, problem solving, the steps. How did we solve the problem? What were the options, and what did we choose to do? Who is it important to inform? Recommendations. As much as you can, again, embed the outputs, the products you have from this documentation in the processes. So people will do it as part of the process. Wherever you cannot do it, wherever you cannot say, okay, every time I have a problem, I also document it immediately while I'm solving the problem or when I solve the problem. So wherever you can do it as part of the job, as part of the process, hooray, that's the best way to do it. Wherever you can't, seek for milestones. Ask people, look at the project. Maybe you have a milestone of a CDR. That's where you want people to finish documenting all the decisions that had to do with the step, with the stage that you are now describing in your design review. For example, emphasize on brain work. Look where you have important brain work, creation of ideas. Creation of ideas is part of decision making. So where you have brain work, there you should put more emphasis on documenting, maybe more details, maybe more structuring. And in addition, collect the decisions, the discussions that you may find on WhatsApp channels, on community channels, and in other places. Wherever you have discussions with questions and answers and people that are consulting one another, that's good. That's treasure. Collect them and put them somewhere that can be easily reused. Before I'm ending, I want to speak about the soft side, because there are some people that won't share easily. Why? They don't trust the organization. They're afraid that maybe we won't need them anymore. Maybe they think that we won't respect them if we take their knowledge. We can never take it. So I want to give you 3 tips. First, let's understand them. Let's honor them, and let's find a way together with them to do it very, very gently. In my experience, if you start very gently and you understand the place they are in, from meeting to meeting, it will get better and you will have more and more information. If people are retiring, then when you come to sit with them, to transfer their knowledge, they will all of a sudden understand, internalize that yes, tomorrow they won't have a job, tomorrow they won't come to work, tomorrow they'll stay at home. And they panic. So understand them. Be slow, be gentle, and do it step by step gradually. Speak with people about the heritage of their knowledge. If they won't share their knowledge, all the buildings they have built, all the ideas that they have developed will be lost. It is their interest as well as ours that their heritage continues also after they leave. And please, do not exploit their knowledge. Do not say to yourself, even without speaking loudly, okay, we will take the knowledge, we will share, we will capture the knowledge, and tomorrow we can fire people. Because if you even can think that way, it will come to a time where you speak it, or where you act that way, and then no one will share the knowledge. So the idea is not so we can fire people. The idea is so that we can develop, so that we can put them in bigger and more responsible and more high level jobs, so that we can transfer them to some more interesting places, so that they can deal with some more interesting challenges, not for exploitation. Even if they're staying in the place they are, so people will come to them with more complicated questions, so that the easy questions can be answered by the others. So really, it's a win-win situation. So handle it that way, and people will feel that that's the way that things are handled, and will share more easily. Because knowledge, if you give it to others, it always makes us even more wiser. So I really welcome you all, and hope that we all can give, and every time we give, we also get to new places, to new horizons. Thank you very much.